Hey everybody, it's good to see you guys. I have no mask on today because I'm pretty much in here by myself. So, no, I've got a great crew here. They're helping out as well. But, getting back to the workplace is what we're going to be talking about today is how do we get back to the workplace after what 2020 threw at us? Right? In the second quarter of 2020, we were all adjusting to working from home as we went into a thing called lockdown. I mean, honestly, did we even talk about pandemics? Did we talk about lockdowns? Did we talk about socially distancing each other? No, we didn't. I mean, I didn't. Now, as we are in the second quarter of 2021, people are just registering to get vaccinated like crazy. I just talked to someone out in Poland, and it's very hard out in Poland to actually get a vaccine. They're not getting vaccinated. Here in the United States, it's almost like 50% of the population on certain areas are already vaccinated. And the restrictions are slowly being lifted. I was just down in Dallas and was able to go into a restaurant without a mask. The staff had masks, and I felt kind of embarrassed because I left my mask in my car. And I walk in there, and they're like, no, you don't need a mask, but if you want one, I have a box here for you. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm fine. And walked to the table and sat down, and the restaurant was fully packed. I mean, really fully packed. And then I went down to Scottsdale, Arizona, and same thing. Pretty much nobody was wearing masks on at all. So things are opening up in certain areas of the country. And it sounds like we're going to have a 51st state, which is going to be Washington, D.C. The House just passed that, so it's going to be interesting to see how that actually changes and shifts, if that actually gets pushed through. And employees are pretending to bring back their employees, right? So they're thinking they're going to. Are they really going to? So this is where we're going to start seeing things opening up, and they're going from pretending to preparing. So as they prepare to bring people back, as I do, what is that going to look like? Right? Our employees are going to be staying home until August, and we may even be changing that a little bit as we move into the future. So we want a smooth and safe transition if we're going to go ahead and do this. The question is, are you still working in the office or are you working from home? Go ahead and put some comments down there, and also some other questions that may be popping up for you in regards to this. I'd also like to hear if you've already been vaccinated or not. And if you plan on getting vaccinated or not, right? Because there's not a mandate that says that you have to do this. It is a choice. And some of us are choosing to go ahead and get vaccinated, and some of us are choosing not to. It was a big change to work from home. I'm telling you, when this all happened a year and 1 month ago, I can remember that, and it was really interesting because we were closing down our Chicago office because the lease ended the end of March. So we emptied that whole office out, and that was a beautiful, almost 4,000 square foot office with, I think we had 40 or 50 desks in there. So transitioning that and putting everything into storage, that was huge for us. But understanding everybody was starting to move back to home, right? So there were a lot of adjustments that had to be taken place and new lessons learned. And in fact, last week, I went over to really understand how the leaders could successfully change and shift to managing their team remotely. I remember that, and it was like yesterday. So if you find yourself still running into some speed bumps, then go check it out. I mean, check out how are people managing from home? How are they doing? Are they enjoying it? And we're going to talk about this as we move into this, is things that I've been looking at and saying, how can we do it here at Becker Logistics? And it may help you guys understand something that you didn't think about as we enter this. However, as I said, things are opening up again, and people are starting to feel more comfortable about being in an office again. I mean, we have about 10 people in this office at corporate in Glendale Heights, Illinois. Again, it will be a change to come back to work. Some of your employees will have anxiety and probably a lot of questions. Is everyone at work going to be vaccinated? That's a great question. We're doing surveys, and it looks like out of the 3/4 of the people that actually took the survey, it looks like 50% of our employees are already vaccinated with either 1 shot or 2 shots, or they're scheduled to have the shot. Is everyone at work going to be vaccinated? I don't know. Will workstations be socially distanced? Are you going to be requiring face masks in the office? As an employer, you need to be setting the guidelines with your HR director and really setting that up and have a plan to reintegrate your team back to the office and be able to give your employees the peace of mind that they really need to do their job. Let's dive into some of the best practices of getting back to the workplace. And, as you're bringing these people back in, there are some standards you need to have when starting this process. Have your sanitizer stations all set up, right? Can people go ahead and have sanitizer either on their desks or stations where they can actually, clean their hands, right? It's kind of nice. Everyone should have that opportunity. Have extra masks on hand for anyone. And have some of your new rules or guidelines posted in the office and talking about that. I can remember us all coming back around July of 2020, and it was kind of awkward, right? But we had signs everywhere to really just bring people to the present moment of what was actually going on. But besides all that, there are a couple other key areas you need to keep in mind. So we need, number one, physical safety, psychological safety, resilience, and optimism. These are so important. People are thinking about it, but they're not publicly just saying it. This is what's on my mind. In this case, physical and psychological safety play off of each other and other people. The more physically safe you are, the more psychologically safe you are and you feel. So it is so important to put in the physical safety measures to ensure that your employees feel safe. So what are some of these ways? Well, for one, ask yourself, is the layout in your office space large enough to have a team actually be socially distanced, especially when they're working? Before COVID, everyone's desk might have been right up against each other, right? And you could move around them, right? But could you really be 6 feet apart? It's a good question, because I can tell you, before this whole pandemic, we had people on top of each other. Really. We broke down all the offices just so that people could have an open environment where people were yelling over the desks, kind of like a stock floor, right? Even if a team member is actually vaccinated for the flu, you can still get the flu. Think about that. Well, same goes for the COVID. So if you are able to space out working areas for your employees, it will probably give them a little peace of mind, maybe a lot of peace of mind. And they will have the physical and psychological sense that things are better. If your office space isn't big enough to move the workstations around, then you can consider rotating an in-person work days. For example, half of the team could come in on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and the other half could come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a great idea that we've been thinking about doing here at Becker Logistics, and switch off every week. So it's fair for each employee. And then eliminating the amount of people in the office will help everyone space out. Really. Now, with that, one cool thing about that is as you grow, you don't really need more office space. I really feel sorry for some of the people that are out there, the realtors, for office space and the owners of said office spaces, and what is that capacity ratio really looking like? I know in one of our offices, our lease expired. We took the equipment out of that building, and the whole building, all the floors were empty, and nobody was in that building. And we just emptied that out I think, last week. So with the increase in number of people in your office have an increased amount of germs. I mean, really, think about this. My kids have been back in school this whole year, and they are wearing their masks each and every day. And my kids aren't really sick like they normally are, because normally there's germs everywhere. Germs are good for you too, so don't keep that in mind. But we want to keep and maintain a clean office. It's really important. Just like the kids, they're keeping and maintaining a clean classroom. These things are important, both for our kids and for us. I like having a cleaning crew come into my office after hours every day to sanitize it for the team that comes in the morning. If you'd rather not be paying a cleaning service or a company to do said things, you could designate a person or two to sanitize the public areas in your office throughout the day or at the end of the day. You know, we had Jessica and Robert walking around the offices last year, really like cleaning all the handles, cleaning all the doors, just making sure these areas were safe for all of our employees. And I really, really appreciated them doing that. You should also consider, are you going to require face masks? If so, then they need to be required everywhere or just in public areas. You got to really come up with this. Are you going to provide them? Depending on the layout of your office space in public areas, it might not be necessary for the employees to wear it all of the time. They may even have their own private office, and they may also have their own mask. I can tell you, I still have the same mask that I've had for a year. You just have to, listen, I did wash it, okay? These things can be washed in a washer, so it's not like the regular ones. If I put the regular ones in, the surgical mask, into the washing machine, it would probably fall apart. I mean, no, it would fall apart. Let's be honest. One of the more controversial questions, we're going to go ahead and push the limit here a little bit, that may pop up. Will you, as an employer, require your employees to get vaccinated in order to come back to the office? You know, Biden was just talking about just the other day about paying for employees to leave office to go get their vaccination. Think about that. Why didn't he talk about that when he first got in the office? It would have been a great idea. Most of us are doing this on our own, taking a time off, our PTO, and our employers give us enough PTO time. But now the EEOC confirmed that employers can make the vaccination against the COVID-19 mandatory. So, you know, the EEOC did speak up. So they said employers could say, in order for you to work at Becker Logistics, you must be vaccinated. So you're not going to run into that problem if you do decide to take that route. Whether you or will not enforce the vaccination requirements, you need to communicate a clear and concise policy to all of your employees. I mean, really, what is the requirement there? I know if we were in an ER, I would require all my nurses and doctors to have the vaccination. Absolutely. Being in transportation, I can tell you I'm not going to require that. I mean, but that's just who I am and the vision that we hold for the company. I want everyone to be safe, absolutely. But it's their choice in my world. What is it for you? Think about that. I mean, really, think about that. In this policy, you should make sure you include a plan what to do if an employee contracts COVID-19. Be prepared for the worst. I know here at Becker Logistics, I think we had in the beginning, I want to say 10 or 11 people that contracted COVID. We know of one or two that had it but never said anything. But you have to be aware of these things. And some people were embarrassed when they got it. And some people just said, holy cow, I won't get it. This thing doesn't exist. I've heard everything. So be prepared for the worst. This should include a communication plan that explains how and what message to employees if someone does test positive. People still die from flu every year. People still die from COVID. We shouldn't think COVID is just going to go away. It's not. It's been here for a long period of time now. It's here, and you have to be prepared that if X or Y or Z actually happens, this is how you will react to it. So make sure you're prepared. Something to remember, though, is it might take a while for everyone to start feeling really comfortable again, doing the things the way that they used to do it. And before, they weren't doing the PPP, or not PPP, PPE. So understand, I would love to get right back to pre-COVID days, but we may be dealing with a whole nother year before that actually happens. When integrating your team to come back to the office, you really want them to feel safe and feel empowered to speak up about anything that may concern them. I mean, really, I like to know there's blind spots, and hey, listen, be careful, this is what's going on. I recommend that once you have a plan and the policies in place for re-entering the office with your team, we want to get back to the office and workplace, but we want to do it safely. And you have to share it with them before you put it into effect. Let them know what's happening. Let them know what these policies and the plan will be. Be open to their feedback and maybe take those anonymous polls. Really, you want to hear what they have to say. Get that feedback. That feedback will give you direction on what you really need to do. We don't, as leaders, have all the right answers. We do have people, our team, our executive team, our management team, all of our employees that can give us that feedback of what they really want. And maybe as we move in, we're making the right decisions. So as we go forward, I want you to understand, are you decided or are you still undecided? Choose, make those decisions, and come up with that plan. It helps to know as an employer where everyone stands. And it might even make the efforts and the employees feel better and be more open to share about their results instead of being anonymous. The anonymous is help. That helps. Just bring it forward. Everyone at some point in time felt pretty down and negative towards 2020. They really did. You know, for us as a company, you know, we had our trials and tribulations, but we did get through it, and we ended up having a good year. It was a tough year, though, and one that I'm sure we will all remember as we get older. And probably we'll be talking about this 20 years from now. I guarantee it. There's things I can remember back in 1989 that happened, and stuff before that, like the breaking down of the wall, right? That happened in 1989, or the Columbia Space Shuttle, I think in 1985. Those things happen, and we still talk about them. Or 9/11, right? Knowing where you were and what you dealt with throughout all those things. But as we move forward, we have to stay positive. The whole transition will require additional efforts from your management team to really ensure a positive experience and smooth transition for the employees. Ensure your team that they've been resilient thus far and to keep up the great work. In reality, we only have two choices. Face the difficulty with optimism or face it with pessimism. Choose. I know what I choose. I'm more of a half full guy, even if I spilled some water. So understand when you're going through this, what side of the line are you choosing? Or are you neutral on the line? When you think positive, You're able to reduce the stress and even improve your own health. Think about this. All the stress that you think about, all the stories, how you've been wrong, the regrets you have, those stresses attack your body. The more that you can let those go, the more you're free to be and free to act. Be optimistic about the future at the workplace and let your people know that things can only go up from here. Keep the spirits up so that they can focus on the great work that they are doing and what the vision of the company is and what great things we're doing as a company, instead of all the stressors that 2020 threw at us. You can do this by having plenty of culture events. We do a great job at that. Our team really thinks, what can we do to bring people together? And who are we as an organization? And we be that. There's always some random holiday to celebrate. I mean, there are. Look at it. There's like 20 holidays every single day. For example, today is the National Jelly Bean Day. Did you know that? Seriously, National Jelly Bean. Think about that. Seriously. Additionally, it's National Dance Week. So maybe have a social distance dance contest? I mean, I was a professional dancer, choreographer. If you guys didn't know that already, that's who I am. When there's music playing and I get up and dance, it's pretty cool because some people, like I'll be out with my wife, we start dancing, things are great. How many people knew that it was National Dance Week? As a dancer, I know that. Did you know that? Did you know it was National Jelly Bean Day? I didn't know that. But the point is, once you have people all in the office again, it's not too hard to keep the spirits high. You just have to invest the time and effort. I mean, really, if you focus in on something, things evolve. And the more that you nurture it, water it, the more you learn, the more things grow, and the better things are. So let me conclude this and wrap all this up for us. There are plans and policies that need to be thought out and put into place before getting your team back in the office. Keep an open door policy and talk to your employees and see how they feel about everything. Let them know that you're in this whole thing together, really, to ease their minds. Let them know that you're there. You've got their back. After all, quite a few people lost their job in 2020. Quite a few people fell ill, ended up in the hospital, quarantined in their own house, and in some cases, people passed away. This is a serious matter. And with serious matters, we have to take serious policies and steps to protect the people that we love. We've got to do that. If working from home works for some positions in your company, then consider if they really need to be physically in the office or at home, either one, choose for them or let them choose. Then consider if they really need to be physically back into the office and it's detrimental to the company if they're not, then let them know that. This past year has been a learning curve for all of us. It really has. And anyone still in business should really be grateful. Because shutting down a country, shutting down business, shutting down commerce, there's a lot of lives that were affected by what we dealt with last year. Let's do our best getting back to a working economy and watch our GDP go back up. I hope you were all able to take something away from this. I mean, really. This is an important live stream to just really bring the facts forward. And if you're wanting to get your team back to the office, do a little evaluation and see where you can improve. Get things in motion with your management team and work together with an optimistic mindset, an outward mindset, you can do this. And you need a can-do attitude. Anything is possible. And I know you guys will do it. Absolutely. You guys are great. I appreciate you being here, listening to us. We will be here next Wednesday or Thursday. I think we're switching it to Thursdays. Let's see if we have any questions. Working at the office, fully vaccinated. Nice, David. Great job. What percentage do you plan on taking? Oh, what precautions? Sorry. What precautions do you plan on taking, if any, when returning to the office? Well, for us, what we're trying to do right now, we're not supposed to come back until August 1st. So we extended it a little bit, and that's when we're making the decision. And I'm going to let our employees most likely choose if they want to come back or not. That's what I'm saying right now. Now, I do have veto power, but it's up to my management team of what we're really doing. So when we get down to the human capital aspect of it, we'll look at that and see what's best for us. And we are working on plans, and we already have plans in place for right now for people working here. So we'll see as that goes, and we will let you know. Absolutely. Good message. Thank you very much, Patrick. Appreciate it. With all that being said, I want to just thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a blessed day. And please, if you can, you made it this far. If you made it this far, hit the like button. And furthermore, share this on your profile and let someone else know that maybe didn't hear this. And if you're not following us, there's a little follow button. There's a follow button. I love these live shows. Click the follow button. That way it changes the algorithm and it allows you to be notified when I'm going live and when we're posting something new. There's also a poll that we just posted, and I think we got like 5,000 views on that already, and over 120 people voted already. So it's really talking about the topic that we're talking about today. So listen, God bless. Have a good one. Thank you very much.